rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Oh yeah.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing this morning? Good morning, Denise. Good to see you. Cut down your electric and still getting a $400 a month bills. I'm so mad. I'm tempted to keep it dark at the time. I don't blame you, Stormy. I don't blame you a darn bit. Yes. Good morning. How you doing? Good morning, Denise. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Nanny Goat. Deborah, how you doing? Lynn and Nanny Goat. Judy, all you wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you for coming in. It is another hump day, and it is just cruises right on by. Oh my gosh, what a day it's going to be. I've got a lot planned for today, and you know what's going to happen tonight. We're keeping an eye out for seeing what all kind of shenanigans will happen tonight. Hopefully there's nothing that happens tonight. That is sort of the hope that they can get all the information that they need and move on with this case and get it before a jury. Make sure that it's done. The hopes in that, though, are very slim, knowing how crazy those folks are. Morning, Captain Kern. Good to see you. Good to see you. By the way, if you guys hadn't seen that, Lauren Needy got 7K. She's up to 7,000 subs. That is wonderful. Congratulations on that for her. She's been out there digging into it and having a good time. Deputy Derp. Deputy Derp. All right. Well, let's get into it this morning. Oh, we've got the art of sabotage. The far left's betrayal of Ukraine is coming. And I mean that does remind me of the beer bug, the one that everyone got locked down on, where one political group was saying, let's go get, these jib jabs, let's make them happen. And everybody was like, well, if Trump made it, we're not doing it. Well, that changed as soon as the next people got in, their next group of people, that all changed. All of a sudden it was, you're an evil, horrible Trumper if you don't do all these things that we're telling you to do. Make those decisions for yourself. But here it is. I'll open up with the punchline, but be forewarned, there's nothing funny about it. The far left will betray Ukraine because they hate Trump more than they care about the Ukrainian people. Those poor, suffering civilians in Ukraine, they're abstractions, mere cannon fodder for a greater cause. Been that way since the beginning of the conflict, and although the Biden administration never formally admitted it, deleting Russians and Ukrainians in a long, protracted bloodbath was America's objective all along. Sure, we dolled up the policy with high-minded speeches about protecting liberty and Russia being evil and/or Ukraine being pure and good, and the vowing that Putin cannot remain in power, but we never sought any sort of resolution, not really. Instead, we warmed Ukraine with just enough equipment, weapons, technology, and artillery to maintain the status quo. It was the bloodbath we wanted and a bloodbath we got. From the left viewpoint, the plan made sense. Russia was our enemy, especially after they interfered in the 2016 election and cheated poor Hillary out of her presidency. But then in 2022, they invaded a neighboring country. You know who else invaded their neighbors? That's right. The little Austrian mustachioed guy. Clearly, it's in our strategic interest to weaken the next little mustachioed guy. And then you strip away all the high-minded rhetoric, and that's been Biden's true objective all along. Let the war continue. Let Russia hemorrhage. Let the Red Army bleed itself dry. A healthy, intact Russian military is a threat. Therefore, let's weaken it as much as possible, depleting it of its weaponry, equipment, and manpower. The morality or immorality side, it wasn't a horrible plan for an American president. The White House was walking do-it-yourself tightrope. If Biden pushed too hard against Russia, it could trigger a nuclear response. But if he pushed too softly, the next little Austrian Boehner would steamroll Ukraine and start eyeing more territory. So instead, Biden pursued an outcome that, if successful, would prevent World War III from ever breaking out by running Russia's military into the ground, dulling its knives over the corpses of Ukrainians. Makes Machiavellian logic when, from Biden's perspective, but for Ukrainians, the plan would have ensured national suicide. A smaller country can't survive a never-ending war of attrition against a much larger enemy. It's not sustainable. Eventually, something needs to give. Because the unspoken truth was, for the Biden plan to succeed, Ukrainian men and women had to be deleted by the hundreds of thousands. And tragically, they were. President Trump estimates that 700,000 Ukrainian soldiers have already been deleted, and in the process, they've deleted about 1 million Russian soldiers. If this carnage continues, the Red Army will be weakened, but Ukraine will be completely vanished from the face of the earth. Russia has a population of 140 million, Ukraine only 40 million. Ukraine is also a year older demographically. Ukraine's pre-war 2021 population only had about 2 million men between the age of 15 and 24, and it's now 2025. Ukraine is running out of people. Fortunately, President Donald Trump is coming to the rescue, and not a moment too soon. His people are meeting with the Russians, trying to hammer out viable solution. Master dealmaker is hoping to strike a deal of a lifetime. Russia wants more Ukrainian territory, the lifting of sanctions, and other concessions. Ukraine wants all of its territory returned. Russia punished, and ironclad security guarantees from the West. Obviously, Donald Trump and Marco Rubio are aware of this and are working diligently to eke out a deal where everyone wins, everyone loses, and everyone can walk away with their heads held high, peacefully, freely, and civilly. It won't be easy, but the Trump administration isn't coming to the table empty-handed as the American president. He has some leverage, and the more leverage he has, the more concessions he can demand of Russia and Ukraine, thus ensuring lasting peace. If the far left actually gave a damn about the Ukrainian people, they'd be working overtime to maximize Trump's leverage. Our allies in Europe would be doubling down on their military budgets, increasing their troop size, and rattling their sabers at the Reds. They'd fund a larger army. They'd proudly align themselves with American foreign policy, bolster Trump's stature, and do everything possible to elevate his profile. It's simple math. The stronger Trump is, the more leverage he has over Putin. Besides, the consequences of not getting a deal done would literally be World War III. As much as the far left hates Donald Trump, they must fear World War III even more, right? Well, not really. Ukraine is still whining about being at the negotiating tables. The Europeans are flailing their arms or stunned by the latest self-perceived snub. And domestically, the Democrats are on brand as always. Trump's approval, 100% Trump's approval rating in Russia. Putin in 2 goals, invading Ukraine, robbing its territory, robbing its sovereignty by preventing them from joining NATO. European allies are right to call an emergency meeting about Hegseth Vance's surrender plan, allowing Russia to conquer independent states. Not to mention of Ukraine, not a word of Russia. VP Vance scolding lecture in Europe about free speech at the Munich Security Conference today was a complete embarrassment. He missed all the critical imperative to clarify the administration's confused, contradictory signals. Senator Chris Van Hollen, imagine if the middle of World War III FDR had told Churchill that we would cut off support and fight against the little, Austrian mustachioed artist, and the Nazis gave us 50% of their coal and mineral reserves. The world would be such a different place. But it's exactly what Trump is doing with Ukraine. I mean, sure, World War III would be a bummer, but Donald Trump is literally name your bad person. Bottom line, when given a choice between hurting Trump, helping Ukraine, the far left will choose to hurt Trump every single time. Sort of sad. Sort of sad, isn't it? I think it's an endless war. I would like to see it end. It could have ended much, much sooner. Could have ended before it got started. But yet, people didn't listen. This morning's briefing, Trump's labor secretary pick is a commie fox in the MAGA henhouse. What is this all about? Well, this comes in from Stephen Cruzier, and he says, Happy Wednesday. Good morning. We have had a lot of fun here with all things Trump 47 going so swimmingly. Watching the Democrats' heads go full scanners every time that the President Trump's cabinet nominees is confirmed has been a particular delight. Well, they're not going to be too upset by the confirmation hearings that are starting today. Trump's nominee to be the next Secretary of Labor is Lori Chavez DeRemer, one of the worst Republican nominees for the cabinet position in recent memory. Seriously, this was a phenomenally boneheaded choice by Trump. It's a serious buzzkill for those of us who have been enjoying the MAGA highs since January 20th. Catherine wrote about this, the nightmare of the nominee yesterday. Lori Chavez DeRemer, Senate confirmation hearings began on Wednesday. The former Planned Parenthood employee and loyal union stooge needs to be replaced. Trump should never have chosen her. In fact, she's an absolute gift to the most leftist and most corrupt unions. It is one thing to appeal to a union membership, as Trump undoubtedly did the last election, and another thing to place a radical union ally in a position of high federal authority. What, did Nancy Pelosi or Elizabeth Warren have relatives who were available for the job? Over at Hot Air, Ed Morrissey explains why Chavez DeRemer, I really get sick of typing out hyphenated names, is particularly ill fit for the administration that Trump has assembled. It's not true of Lori Chavez DeRemer. Chavez DeRemer has no record of taking on some establishment clique as looking for reform. Chavez DeRemer is the establishment, someone who not only has clear bias to big labor, but also to Planned Parenthood and a host of other alliances that are aligned far more with the bureaucratic state than with Trump's constituents and constituencies. There's no angle to look at this from that makes it seem sensible. It's a major screw up on Trump's part while writing this past month about how well things are going for Trump's second go at the presidency. I've been hoping that he would change his mind and have some people in his inner circle convince Chavez DeRemer to withdraw her name. Both Catherine and Ed linked to a column that he wrote last November about Chavez DeRemer. Last year, when Trump announced her nomination, I raised the alarm as soon as I read that she was in his pick. I caught some grief about that from people who think that being a fervent Trump supporter means that he should never be criticized. A couple of people said, let Trump cook. Sorry, he's not my personal chef. He's my president. He works for me. And when he does something idiotic, I have every right to denounce it. Apologists say that Chavez de Reamer's nomination is forgivable because Teamsters head Sean O'Brien helped Trump during the campaign last year. Did the Teamsters endorse Trump? No, they merely didn't endorse Joe Biden. That was only because internal Teamsters polling showed huge support for Trump. That means that O'Brien's help in declining to endorse Biden was almost negligible. A lot of Teamsters were already going to vote for him. That hardly seems worthy of giving big labor a shill a seat at the MAGA table. Trump fans are getting excited about all the talk of getting rid of the Department of Education, something that will be fought tooth and nail by teachers' unions. Guess who is Lori Chavez de Reamer fan? Yeah, Randy Weingarten. It's significant that President-elect nominates Chavez de Reamer for labor. Her record suggests real support of workers and their rights to unionize. I hope it means the Trump administration will actually respect collective bargaining and workers' voices from Teamsters to teachers. And that's right. The president of the American Federation of Teachers and one of the 2 or 3 most thoroughly evil people in American politics. Weingarten is quite infamous for being spittle-spewing lunatic when responding to anything Republican ever does, but she is the picture of calm when it comes to Chavez de Reamer. The friend of my enemy, well, Chavez de Reamer has also co-sponsored the PRO Act, which would have been an existential threat to my job and also legalized union thuggery via a card check, which I explained in my original column. Again, there's nothing redeeming about this choice. If you're still in the let Trump cook camp, then you should grab a bib and plate and get ready for some steaming piles of commie horse manure while you're going to be served if Lori Hugo Chavez de Reamer makes it to the president's Trump cabinet. And by the way, hit that like button. Everything isn't always awful. Yes. Not everything. Get that tail. Get that tail. Get that tail. Get it. Get it. You got it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're going to fall. You're going to fall. You're going to fall. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Get that thing. Get it. Get the tail. Get the tail. Oh, kitty cat didn't fall. Oh my gosh. It is insane. Ah. How are you doing this morning? Oh, kitty. Yeah, you guys get to see a kitty. But here it comes. Here it comes. Oh my. Maybe the trans crowd can show us some mercy. Trans violence kicks off in 2025. Do you remember on January 21st when Donald Trump's second day in office, whenever the LGBTQIMLNOP plus bishop in Washington, D.C. asked Trump to show mercy on trans kids? I don't think the bishop was actually asking for mercy. I believe she was trying to rally the trans troops into action. And like the self-obsessed perennial victims that many trans people are, they responded. As the world was watching the inauguration proceedings on January 20th, a group of brilliant, whacked-out vegan trans cultists, and I'm not kidding, who refer to themselves as Zizanists, not kidding, a slingshot. Well, they shot and murdered a border guard in Vermont. The Ziz is named after their leader, Jack Zislisoda, who fancies himself a woman. The cult, which believes AI will end the world, has also been left a handful of deleted bodies around the nation. Factorama Indian pop star Gurmeet Sam Ram Singh convinced 400 men in his cult to remove their testes. They were not thought to be transgenders. It is not known if the Zizanists are quite so dedicated to have bid farewell to their man parts. On February 14th, a transgender person who goes by the name of Trinity Jamie Shockley was arrested for planning a Valentine's Day mass shooting attack on a high school. Shockley was found, 18, was found with with swastikas in notebook and memorabilia from other mass shooters, including little-known Randy Stair, a transgender shooter who murdered 3 coworkers at a Weis supermarket in Pennsylvania. Opinionorama. If gender dysphoria is a mental illness, which it is, isn't it cruel to play into transgender persons' delusions and refer to them with pronouns they make up? Would you encourage someone with a different mental health issue, such as a bad case of paranoid schizophrenia, to act on their feelings? Probably not, and thus I will never use a trans person's preferred pronouns as it strikes me as counterproductive. At roughly the same time, the FBI was arresting shockingly an illegal immigrant transgender person, a man living as a woman, stalked and raped a 14-year-old boy in a Manhattan Spanish Harlem neighborhood. The alleged rapist, who goes by the name of Nicole Suarez, 30, was wanted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, for crimes that are not immediately known. Prosecutors asked for $500,000 bail, but recently elected Democrat Party Judge Elizabeth Shahamas decided 100,000 would suffice. And here is a baker's dozen attacks committed by the trans people against children that he wrote about in 2022. Andy knows this. Last night, a suspect, Isaiah Lee, sprinted on stage and tried to tackle Dave Chappelle, a comedian in Los Angeles. He was arrested on suspicion of assault. Chappelle has angered the left for his jokes about transgender radicalism, and I'm not going to show that. The name of objective journalism, I will mention the brutal torture and murder of a black woman living as a man in upstate New York. After being raped and tortured for about 1 month, Sam Nordquist was found dead in a field. The 5 alleged killers were all identified as LGBT, including a former female lover who left Nordquist for another woman, are not accused of hate crimes. Why does your purple-haired nephew, niece, nephew, in-law think Trump is waging war against the nation's few transgender people? Because Jack Puddings in the Operation Mockingbird media keep writing stories like this, even though reality shows us that transgender people have kicked off 2025 with raping, murdering, and a potential mass shooting. The only known death of a transgender person thus far in 2025 was murdered by other members of the LGBT WTF crowd, although I assure you Nordquist's heinous murder will fall into the status of yet another trans person murdered with no mention of to who did it. If you want to know who's killing transgender people, he wrote about that previously twice. Kevin Downey Jr. is a comedian, columnist, radio talk show host. He isn't writing or performing, he's collecting surf records. Go check him out over on livenewsradio.com. Interesting thought. Weather can be hard to deal with if you're not prepared for it. That is darn right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome yet again to another insane day. Evidently, Lindsey Graham cannot understand the Trump mandate. The people of South Carolina, along with a significant portion of the people in the United States, voted to give Donald Trump a mandate last November. America first. While South Carolina's roads crumble, its bridge weaken, and citizens struggle with failing infrastructure, Senator Lindsey Graham seems to have either ignored or overlooked this mandate, ignoring his constituents to grandstand on the world stage. Recently, Graham, along with Senators John Cornyn of Texas, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, traveled to Europe to attend the Munich Security Conference. While there, they met with Ukrainian President Zelensky. During this meeting, the 3 senators pledged their support for Ukraine in its war against Russia, but none more so than Graham. Graham has been a strong advocate for providing U.S. taxpayer dollars to support Ukraine in its efforts against Vladimir Putin's Russia. In May 2022, he voted the additional Ukraine Supplemental Appropriations Act, which allocated approximately $40 billion in emergency funding for Ukraine. In December 2022, Graham supported the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 23, which included another $44.9 billion in emergency aid for Ukraine, and in April 2024, he also voted in favor of a House-authored national security supplemental package that provided an additional $61 billion in aid to Ukraine. Well, based on the available data, Graham has voted to approve at least $145.9 billion in U.S. aid to Ukraine between May 2022 and April of 2024. This total reflects only the major and well-documented votes where Graham's position is clear. He does not include other funding such as incremental military aid packages and authorizations that do not require direct Senate votes. Graham even went so far as stating, "You and your people, you're the ally I've been hoping for all my life. Not one American has died defending Ukraine. You've taken our weapons, you've kicked their ass, and I'm very proud to have you as our ally." The people of South Carolina, U.S. citizens, are seemingly treated as second-class citizens while Graham focuses on geopolitical theatrics. While Graham is preoccupied with his media appearances and travels across Europe, South Carolina's infrastructure is suffering, receiving below-average ratings that are close to failing. According to the American Society of Civil Engineers, in their 2021 report card, South Carolina's roadway infrastructure received a grade of D. More than 50% of the state's roads are in poor condition. The White House estimated that each driver pays approximately $625 annually due to road disrepair, while ASCE estimated the cost to be around $564 per year. Furthermore, South Carolina has the highest traffic fatality rate in the United States at 1.72 deaths per 100 million vehicle miles traveled. Rural roads are particularly dangerous with a fatality rate of 3.46 deaths per 100 million vehicle miles traveled in 2019. That same ASCE report gave South Carolina bridges a grade of C, and as of June 2024, 6.2 of the state's bridges were classified as structurally deficient. Additionally, the South Carolina Department of Transportation reports that approximately 30% of the state's 8,400 bridges are at least 60 years old, and with not many designed to accommodate modern traffic loads. They estimate that without increased investment, 3,900 bridges will reach the age of 60 or older by 2035. And that's just the tip of the degrading iceberg. South Carolina has over 2,200 dams which receive a grade of D, indicating critical weaknesses that have led to numerous failures, especially during severe weather events. The drinking water infrastructure was rated as a D+ due to the aging systems and growing population. Wastewater management in South Carolina received a grade of D, reflecting underinvestment and increased demand from population growth. Additionally, both the aviation and transit sectors received D+ grades, with aviation struggling with capacity issues and transit facing limitations in funding and coverage. And I won't even address the issue of internet coverage for rural South Carolinians. With all these infrastructure issues facing the people of South Carolina, one of the state senators, Lindsey Graham, appears more concerned about the Ukraine people and their war than serving the people of its state. It's an obligation mandated by his position. Evidently, Graham didn't get the memo. Mm, mm, mm. That's how you doing? How you doing, Chad? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. It is going to be a very crazy day. I've got so many things to do today, but nothing like what Disney has going on. A Disney fan site, yeah, tries to tie changes at Epcot to Donald Trump, and they fail spectacularly. Now, Chris Queen has written several pieces in the past month about those Disney fan sites that publish articles with ridiculous clickbait headlines of nothing burger stories. They're stupid sites, but I can't look away because of the car crash fascination that they bring. I get plenty of mileage from these sites because they are trying to blame anything that goes wrong at Walt Disney World on Republicans. And these are the sites that run headlines like Reedy Creek firefighters will no longer answer calls for for help from Disney World. The reason Reedy Creek isn't serving Disney World is because Governor Ron DeSantis changed the name of the district. Authors at these sites headed for their fainting couches because the state government began inspecting the Walt Disney World monorail system and tried to blame the cancellation of a Disney project on DeSantis when the company pulled the plug at a cost-cutting measure. On Tuesday morning, I saw a headline at one of these sites that read, "Under President Trump, Epcot's Canada Pavilion sees permanent change." The featured image for this article is a collage of smirking Donald Trump next to an image of Epcot spaceship Earth attraction. And as President Trump spurs heated conflict with Canada, Walt Disney World Resort is making changes to its depiction of the United States' northern neighbor, reports Inside the Magic. According to the recent reports, mystery building and demolition are ongoing in the Canada World Showcase Pavilion at Epcot. Well, based on that lead, you might be tempted to think that Disney is building a 51st State Pavilion, a tribute to a freedom convoy, or a dark ride called Justin Trudeau's Scary Adventures in Authoritarianism. That's a word. There's always a chance that Trump could be building a wall to keep the Canadian cast members from sneaking over to the American adventure, eh? Well, Inside the Magic waits until the third paragraph to tell you the truth. The construction that's taking place in the Canadian Pavilion began in 23. Disney hasn't announced any updates, changes, or new attractions, and the gossipy fan site writers can't stand it. They just don't know what's happening. So the construction must be Trump's doing, even though it began when Joe Biden was in the White House. Disney is constantly changing its parks and resorts. It's a mindset that began with Walt Disney himself. Guests don't always like the changes, especially when a beloved attraction goes away, but the company always seeks to plus its themes parks, to borrow Walt's term. The second paragraph of the article is a non sequitur that engages in the more asinine speculation. It's not related to Canada or Trump, which makes it even weirder. The latest updates from amid our unannounced changes at Epcot, like the removal of 2 international soda flavors from the club pool in the World Celebration neighborhood, the article states, apropos of nothing, China's sour plum tea and the Philippines' royal watermelon soda recently disappeared from its international tasting stations, leading some Disney Parks fans to wonder if Walt Disney World Resort is shifting focus from its landscape of global cultures and flavors. Coca-Cola features several of its international flavors at Club Cool Lounge, and the company cycles different flavors out of the rotation periodically. This has been the case as long as Club Cool has been part of Epcot. So it's stupid to say that Disney is shifting focus from its landscape of global cultures and flavors just because 2 flavors are going away. Just because Canada is pounding over Trump's rhetoric and tariff threats doesn't mean that Disney is letting the Trump administration gut the Canadian pavilion at Epcot, but it can't help but wonder what will become of the pavilion when Canada becomes our 51st state. Good morning. Oh, opens the door, climbs on in, and says, "Climb on in, everyone. Time for school." 60 degrees. Your toes or fingers go white and hurt, hoping for rain. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I hope you get a little bit of rain also. I don't like the cold at all either. And it is actually a beautiful 41 degrees, but it's going to be getting much colder here in the next few days. It is going to get insanely cold. We've got freeze warnings coming along very shortly here. And it's like I said, it's going to get cold. Well, what do we have here? What do we have here? Looks like Maine ignores Trump's EO on trans athletes, allowing boys to continue beating up on girls. Well, while conservatives aren't the biggest fans of federal power, we do prefer being law-abiding citizens. This is one of the huge differences between the left and the right in America. Democrat officials all over the United States have decided the best way to deal with the crushing defeat that they suffered in the last year's presidential election is by doubling down on their insanity and ignoring President Trump's executive orders, which are popular in the majority of the American people. Well, the state of Maine decided to do the first big foot-stomping tantrum over Trump's return by ignoring his executive order regarding trans athletes. Maine's Department of Education, the issued a statement on Tuesday opposing President Trump's Day 1 executive order that officially acknowledges that there are only two sexes and preserves women's only spaces for males. The executive order defending women for gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government applies to the federal government agencies, and does not inhibit the force of Maine law or locally adopted school board policy, said the DOE's priority notice. It is, of course, patently absurd to even imply that public schools in any state are operating independently of the federal government. If the Maine Department of Education had its federal funding cut off, the resistance would crumble immediately. The state-sponsored disenfranchisement of female athletes continues unabated while the Maine DOE goes rogue. Press release that this editor, Paula, received says yesterday a biological male student defeated his female competitors in the Maine State Class B Championship for pole vault for girls just 2 years prior. John, now going by Katie, placed 5th in the boys pole vault. Longtime SFK readers know that the following story, but I feel bears repeating every time, as he writes about this topic, or she. My daughter ran both cross country and track in high school and college. Her high school years were spent competing in Southern California, where one might assume that trans boys problem would have been frequently encountered. The Southern California high school cross country and track scene is huge. The first round of postseason cross country qualifying was always held at Mount San Antonio College every year, and had the Goodyear blimp flying overhead for coverage. Thousands of people were there. She ran from 2012 to 2016, and we never heard so much as a whisper about a transitioning boy running against the girls. It never happened during her college years, 2016 to 2020 either. I don't mean that we just got lucky and she didn't have to compete against a male. I mean, it just wasn't happening. If it were, probably would have, you know, probably would have had a lot of legal bills and maybe an orange jumpsuit or two as well. The trans madness in athletes is a Biden era cancer that is to be eradicated. Democrats love to blather on about the great champions of women allowing biological men to ruin years of preparation, and the dreams of young girls and women proves that. Once again, the Democrats are full of crap. Where are the prominent feminists on this issue? They're transitioning too. They've gone from being gender defenders and being willing offenders in the war on women that they used to bemoan. Our daughters are not safe from the shrieking harridans who have spent half a century pretending to want a better future for all women. Beyond athletics, no children are safe from the Democrats. If they manage to make it through the abortion gauntlet, they're at risk of being groomed and genitally mutilated. We get rid of a president who sniffed little girls. The presidential limousine should have been a windowless van while he was in office. Every Democrat official and public school employee who supports having the boys beat up on girls in sports should be forced to explain him or herself to a crowd of young female athletes. And the latter group really needs to have its federal cash cow go away forever. There you go. that is that columnist's opinion. Does anyone else's number have to tell her that I have some happy pills? Maybe that will get her to stop with this. No. Hope everything goes well for you. I find a lot of the biggest part of the battle against health issues is attitude and positive strength. Those could all be helpful. Or you could just join in with the rest of the crowd, and 19 state attorneys general signal intent to prosecute Fauci. It's interesting, isn't it? Interesting that they would want to prosecute Fauci. But here's a little dirty secret about the federal government that many Americans are just learning. It's run by Democrats, even when voters elect Republicans. Presidents come and go, but that's a different one. Sorry. The little venal worm who posed as America's doctor over the past 5 years may have gotten an unprecedented pardon spanning a decade of potential criminality. by the Biden regime on its way out. Still, he can't slip the proverbial noose at the state level so easily. In perhaps a case of law trumping federal law, 19 state attorneys general recently penned a letter to the GOP leadership in Congress requesting cooperation in gathering evidence that might lead to a successful Fauci prosecution at that level of government, despite Biden's generous federal pardon. A pardon by former President Biden does not extend to preclude state-level investigations or legal proceedings. As state attorneys general, we possess the authority to address violations of state law or breaches of public trust. We are fully committed to investigating any malfeasance that may have occurred to the fullest extent of our authority and are prepared to collaborate with you in further efforts. Via Outkick, emphasis is added. Alan Wilson, the state attorney general of South Carolina, along with 18 other AGs, sent a letter to congressional leadership laying out their intentions to hold Fauci to account at state level despite Biden's protection. And they say, we, the undersigned attorney generals, write to commend your work to promote transparency and accountability in studying the response to the COVID pandemic. The letter starts, as part of your continued efforts in holding malign actors accountable for their actions arising out of the pandemic. If you believe that further findings are direct evidence that suggests there may have been a violation of state laws, please include us in any actions taken so that we may evaluate state-level courses of action. Although former President Biden attempted to shield potential bad actors like Dr. Anthony Fauci from accountability via preemptive pardons, we are confident that state laws may provide a means to hold all actors accountable for their misconduct. Several avenues for potential criminal state-level prosecutions present themselves. The first and perhaps easiest indictments may be for violations of state-level speech protections in the vein of federal First Amendment, as Fauci was integral to the censorship regime surrounding the beer bug origins and the jib-jab safety and efficacy. There's Fauci's direct involvement in bankrolling the creation of SARS-CoV-2 in the first place, though nonprofit EcoHealth Alliance, effectively a conspiracy to concoct a bioweapon which all state laws have on the books prohibiting. Of course, Fauci is going to be lawyered up to the hilt, and any prosecution by a state AG of a federal bureaucrat of his standing would be unprecedented, but at very least it would put future back actors on notice that they'll be hounded to the ends of earth if they ever dare repeat this public health crimes of the past 5 years. As they've painstakingly documented, there is a lot of censorship with Google of PJ Media, and it is out of control. You can always support them, PJ Media, by ordering a 60% discount on VIP membership with the promo code FIGHT. And if you know anything about PJ Media, that's a pretty good deal. That's like $20 a year. Thank you, Ben Barty. Thank you. What do you want to talk about? Too much politics in politics. Oh, yes, there's plenty of politics in politics. That's what we talk about in the mornings. We talk about the politics. We get into a lot of these stories and mock them endlessly. Mock them endlessly. And what better way to mock them endlessly than have an interesting little tale such as this.
I am absolutely certain.
Why not approve a search of her name in those records?
Why not?
Approve a search of her name?
Yes, and reveal anything that might be related to Tara Reid in the University of Delaware records.
There is nothing. They wouldn't. They're not there. And if they, if it's, I don't understand the point you're trying to make.
Ooh. The point I'm trying to make is that
there are no personnel records by definition.
Oh.
The point I'm trying to make is that you are approving and actually calling for a search of the National Archives records of anything pertaining to Tara Reid. I'm asking why not do the same in the University of Delaware records, which have raised questions because they were supposed to be revealed to the public and then they were sealed for a longer period of time.
Oh.
Why not do it for both sets of records?
Because the material in the University of Delaware has no personnel files, and but it does have a lot of confidential conversations that I had with the president about a particular issue, that I had with the heads of state of other places, that would not be something that would be revealed while I was in public office or while I was.
And this is an old one, just so you guys know.
It stands to reason, to the best of my knowledge, no one else has done that either.
I'm just talking about her name, not anybody else in those records. A search for that. Nothing classified with the president or anybody else. I'm just asking, why not do a search for Tara Reid's name in the University of Delaware records?
Look, I mean, who does that search?
The University of Delaware. Perhaps you set up a commission
buffering. Yeah.
that can do it. I don't know. Whatever is the fairest way to create the most transparency.
Well, look, Mika, she said she filed a report. She has her employment records still.
Oh, yeah.
She said she refiled a report.
Yeah. That got a little heated with Biden, but see, they didn't talk about that much on TV. Matter of fact, it was pretty damn quiet. Now, I'm going to show something that might be quite disturbing to some of you folks. So if you're disturbed for the next 35 seconds, I want you to just mute and cover your eyes. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh no! Tower, you're seeing this airplane just crash into you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, hold here. Come on, take that out.
Yeah, that right there is the tragedy that befell an aircraft landing. Now, I've never flown a plane. I've flown in planes, but I've never flown a plane. And there are people that have been saying that one of the reasons why this happened was because they didn't flare. I don't know what that means, but apparently that you can slow down your aircraft as it's coming in for a landing so it doesn't hit so hard. They say that it hit so hard and so fast that it crumpled the landing gear, and this is what happened. I can't confirm that at all. I don't know. Like I said, I don't fly aircraft. Seeing him being interviewed by Brianna. Yeah, I could show that at some point in time. I do have to be careful what I show on the news, because a lot of times they like to ban those kinds of things and you get copyright strikes, and then I have to fight a copyright strike. So I get those on a regular basis because of my coverage of things. I do, like I said, I have to be very careful. But what I don't have to be careful of is taking a coffee break. I need to go tap up into that coffee machine just one more time this morning. I've already been at it once, but I do have to hit it again. And I'm going to give you just a short, brief, little bit of dance music. And I will be right back in just a few. Enjoy the dance, get your wiggles on, and I will see you in less than 3 minutes.
line. I'm feeling the groove with these hips of mine. Hands in the air like spaghetti gone rogue. My knees are jelly and my hips just broke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. My shoulders pop like a rusty hinge. My fingers point like they're on a binge. Twirl like a tornado, then drop real low. It's not planned, it's a shit sideshow. I've got the rhythm of a clock that's broke. My dance floor moves are a big effing joke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Rig like lava lamp, mesmerizing glow. You can't help but watch me steal the show. I summon the shake, the shimmy, the twist, a mix of genius and a big old fist. You're drawn in close, your feet start to twitch, feeling the groove like a broke-ass bitch. Yeah! Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Now we're all in the shake, no need to be shy. Move like spaghetti and reach for the sky. We'll dance like we're cursed, laugh till we're sore. Shizzy whiz nut reigns forevermore. So join the dance, let your weirdness unfurl. We're shaking ass, not a care in the world.
And the wonderful Megan Fox shared this next one with me, and it is absolutely hilarious. Love it. Love it. I love it. Enjoy. This is from the glorious Megan Fox.
Y'all did all that shit about Elon. Talking all that shit about Elon, talking about Elon having y'all down and all that bullshit, like he give a fuck about the negative $3.42 that's in your motherfucking bank account. He don't give a fuck. Y'all did all that shit talking about Elon, but Elon the only motherfucker out this bitch trying to recover the goddamn money that they took from us. He the only motherfucker putting in work, and I'm talking about he running it down. He running that bitch down like a bloodhound. Y'all doing all that motherfucking talking about Elon. Y'all let these motherfucking aristocrats get in y'all head that y'all data is so motherfucking important to Elon because they don't want Elon in their goddamn business. That's what it is. They don't want Elon digging in their shit because they know that they got $100,000 salary, but they net worth is $10 million. How the fuck that work? What you been investing in? Let me know so I can get with the program. But y'all doing all that. Don't y'all letting these aristocrats get it in y'all head, but they steady uncovering where the money been fucking going this whole time. They want y'all to get on y'all. They want y'all to get on their side because they know Elon finna figure that shit out. That motherfucker ain't bullshit. Y'all wasn't worried about your data getting breached when Apple had your shit, when Google had your shit, Netflix had your shit. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up and just enjoy the money that's finna get ready to start coming around. God damn.
Reach it. Yes. Thank you, Megan Fox. That did put a smile on my face when I saw that. That put a smile. And I sent her one in return that I can't show because, well, it's an old Bird's Eye commercial, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it was using, what would you say, homophobic slurs that were talking about some meat in the UK from the 80s, and yeah, the guy's dead on. That's right, Paul Storm. How you doing this morning? Yeah, that guy's dead on with it. He was not playing whenever whenever he started going off about that. Good to see. But you want to see somebody else dead on? You want to see somebody else that's dead on? This man right here that I'm about to show you, he is dead on with this also. Right here.
And you people still don't get it.
And I just want to say his shirt is awesome. His shirt is awesome. Size effing matters.
You don't get it. I voted for Donald Trump, black Trump supporter, voted for Donald Trump to do what he's doing. Did you expect Donald Trump to do this? Not all this. Oh, it feels so good. That's how I feel. Do you like Elon Musk? Yes. Well, yes. Yes, I do. I'm watching Democrats tell me I thought Republicans like small government. Well, that didn't work, so we need Elon. That's why we got Elon, to help shrink it. Look what he's doing for the USAID. They're dropping their workforce from 10,000 to 300. Black History Moment. Black History Moment. Every last black that's on television seem to be all sucking off the Democrat teat. All of them give the same talking point, the same concerns, all Democrat approved. All of you Democrat approved. Well, Donald Trump, he really ain't helping black people. He really ain't helping black people. You brag one moment black people didn't support Donald Trump. So why are you upset Donald Trump ain't supporting black folk? You can't have it both ways, but he is. What Donald Trump is doing, he's eliminating the, are you a DEI hire or are you a hire? Yes, and people have a right to say that.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying every single bit of this. Friday, I'm loving it. Trump kicking butt. You don't like it? Guess what? You didn't vote for Trump. We're out here protesting. We're protesting those. Did you vote for Donald Trump? No. So why am I surprised that you out here protesting Trump? You didn't vote for him. So of course you're not going to like it. But as for people like me, I'm loving it. Enjoy your Friday.
Ah, yes, yes, loving it. Can you imagine someone driving down the road wondering if this guy is road raging? That is pretty funny. Ah, well, that is just delightful. Yes, it is. So animated, so very animated. Ah, yes, yes, they do get animated. And this is what I started to read a little bit ago, but I didn't notice that I had switched because I was checking it out first. Loving it. Here's a dirty secret about the federal government that many Americans are just learning, that it's run by Democrats even when voters elect Republicans. Presidents come and go, but the permanent federal bureaucracy remains the same. It has a distinct partisan tilt. When Americans send a Republican into the Oval Office, they get government still administered by mostly the other party. Yes, that's what makes a sham of a democracy. But no president before Donald Trump was prepared to confront the problem, because the bias in the federal civilian workforce, which consists of more than 2 million employees, favors their side. The likes of Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden were never going to fix it. And earlier, when the parties were less ideologically polarized, there were still quite a few conservative Democrats and liberal Republicans. It wasn't as obvious as today that the bureaucracy partisan slant meant a workforce opposed to the duly elected president when he's not a Democrat. But from Ronald Reagan onward, it's become clear that the Republican who tries to get the bureaucracy to carry out a conservative agenda will face a revolt from the inside. The Constitution's separation of powers doesn't provide for an executive branch divided against, itself. It's the one branch that's meant to be united within and checked from the outside. Originally, the partisan makeup of the federal workforce depended almost entirely on whom won the White House. Republicans would hire Republicans, Democrats hired Democrats, and every federal employee knew he stood to lose his job if the party in power changed. Politicians on both sides saw government jobs as a reward to give their supporters, even if this meant hiring people who weren't the best qualified. A nonpartisan meritocratic civil service seemed like the solution to the inefficiency in you scratch my balls and I'll scratch your corruption of this system. Yet, like many well-intended reforms, this one backfired. Instead of a nonpartisan civil service that we now have is a civil service whose partisanship is no longer alternates and based on elections, a perpetual liberal government unanswerable to voters. Guzu, associate professor at the University of California, Berkeley's Haas School of Business, has studied the magnitude and effect of partisanship in the federal workforce. Analyzing data from 97 to 2019, he found roughly half of all federal employees were Democrats compared to 41% of the public at large, while the percentage of Republicans in federal jobs slid from 32 to 26, with independents gaining the difference. That's almost a 2-to-1 ratio of Democrats to Republicans in the civil service. The imbalance is even more pronounced to many departments and agencies. However, with Democrats making up 70% of EPA, Department of Education, the State Department employees, the bias is also stronger in the highest reaches of the civil service, with Democrats amounting to 63% at the top level federal career executives. Gu and his research colleagues found cost overruns on government contracts increased by some 8% when there's a partisan misalignment between the president and the bureaucratic overseeing the outlay. When we look at HR surveys covering federal government workers, we also found that politically misaligned respondents were less motivated and less likely to identify with the overall mission of the agency, Gu said in an interview on the Berkeley Haas website. Gu is no conservative critic of the system. He takes the lack of turnover in federal workforce when party control of the White House changes to mean civil service protections work, shielding career civil servants from political interference. In truth, civil servants with partisan commitments of their own are being shielded from the consequences of elections, as if the American people have no right to interfere in their own government. The result, when voters elect a Democrat president, they get a Democrat administration. But if they elect a Republican, they get a mixed administration weakened by partisan division between political appointees and the civil service. This is the one reason why Republicans' efforts to scale back the federal government have failed for so long. In effect, there have only been semi-Republican administrations for decades and one continuous Democratic administration with some temporary Republican heads. It's time to reform the civil service reforms that created this mess. There's something to be said for returning to what older reformers got right, such as relying on standardized examinations for hiring and promotion in place of recent highly politicized criteria such as DEI. Beyond that, though, it's necessary to admit the bureaucrats are partisans too. Trump's plan to reclassify many federal employees as Schedule F employees, allowing them to remove them, is more easily done, is a step towards making the bureaucracy more accountable to the democratic process by fighting the partisan bias of the permanent government. President Trump isn't endangering the Constitution. He's restoring its balance. And yes, it is freaking cold in some places. Stay warm. Stay warm. And I have another one for you that I want to show. This one is another interesting one by another person that has left the craziness. Here you go.
As someone who used to despise Trump, as a former Democrat and a gay person, I used to think Trump was like one of the worst people on earth, if not the worst person on earth. But I can assure you that it's in your best interest, if you still hate the guy, to consider that maybe you've been misled. Maybe there's a reason why so many Black, Latino, Asian, gay people support the guy. Why so many former Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK have moved over to the Trump camp. Maybe he's not this racist, homophobic, right-wing extremist. Maybe he's actually a pretty moderate guy with a unifying, common sense set of beliefs. It feels like a lot of people don't actually want the country to unite because it would involve admitting that they were wrong about Trump. But I can assure you, as a former Democrat, that admitting you were wrong is not going to be this terrible process, because the MAGA movement, believe it or not, is very accepting. It's very friendly. They will welcome you with open arms. It's in your best interest to at least consider, because we'll be celebrating. You're welcome to join us, or you're welcome to continue being in a state of negative, existential, crisis level delusion.
Love it. 11 degrees in North Texas feels like 6 degrees. Ooh, no, thank you at all. I do not like the cold. No, 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 thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you at all. No, no. All I can say is we need to have more boob window. What do you guys think? More boob window? More boob window? More boob window, anyone?
Oh, we might be saved by like the most unexpected group of people. Do you know who Trump's trying to declare war on? The cartel. Oh, please do. Please do. Fuck around and find out, Trump. Oh, we might be.
I'm just saying, I don't know what she was talking about, but I will say the boob window is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Oh, yes, yes, yes. She might have had something to say. Might have had something to say. Oh, yeah. She'd be hotter if she didn't talk. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Crazy, 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 crazy. Let's see what we got here. No, I can't show that. There was something that I saw. No, that's creepy. Let's see if I can find that particular one. Oh, no, that's I can't show these. Some of these things I can't show. It's always amazing to me. I find these really cool snippets and then I can't show them because it'll get me in all kinds of trouble, copyright issues and things of such. So I have to be very careful of what I show. That's funny. Sorry. I'm looking at some things in the background here that cannot be shown. Okay, yeah. Anyhow, we'll get on to this next one here. We'll just show this one to you here. How to kill NATO with this one weird trick, and it isn't Trump's. The image of German state police raiding a man's home to punish him for sharing an image seems like something out of a World War II movie, yet it's a scene happily broadcast by 60 Minutes in a segment partly about how to deal with the problem of free speech in Europe. As a longtime media critic, for me, the story was domestic, our press playing lapdogs once more for state censorship. And my question yesterday was, what the hell is wrong with CBS News? But maybe the real question is, what the hell is wrong with Europe? And what does that mean for our alliances? Watching the video again this morning, I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that the difference between the modern Stasi police and the little German or Austrian artists is game high, whatever, secret state police or what they call Gestapo is increasingly fine. I'm not one having such dark thoughts. I do not think the Germans understand the damage they have done to themselves embracing their fascist roots. Kurt Schlittler posted on X's for a reaction yesterday. They literally have no conception that Americans might not be willing to pay for or die for their ability to throw people in jail for saying things. And another thing, looking back, the progressives at 60 Minutes and Face the Nation were just doing what they see as their jobs, and that's sucking up to those in power who share the correct groupthink. Remember, Those aren't journalists you see on the dinosaur legacy media. They're highly paid hall monitors, snitches with makeup artists. Retired Marine Tom Sawyer put it more bluntly than even Kurt did. He said, "This alone makes me want to pull out of NATO. Defend your own bullshit." There's a sick feeling of resignation when you ponder this one possible future. If the Germans are going to oppress themselves, what difference does it make if the Russians step in and do it for them? I understand this country just got out from under the thumb of a similar oppression with the departure of the Biden cabal and its suppression of free speech to the ash heap of history. So I'm in no rush to judgment. Germany has national elections on February 23rd, and it might prove impossible to form a new government without AfD, or Alternative für Deutschland. AfD wants to bring back immigration controls, and speaking frankly, removing the Islamic irritant from German society might go a long way towards restoring respect for free speech there. And another thing, if AfD, which would be welcome improvement to Germany's domestic policies, has expressed more interest in going back to the good old days of buying cheap Russian energy than in national defense, as always, keep in mind Thomas Sowell's dictum: there are no solutions, only trade-offs. That's probably truer nowhere than in international relations. The cornerstone of the NATO alliance is our shared traditional liberal values: free speech, free markets, and free elections. Granted, in Germany's case, those values had to be imposed quite vigorously by various allied armies and air forces. But what about the special relationship with our English-speaking cousins in Britain? Free speech is dead in Britain, or nearly so, while President Donald Trump, again, returned the bust of Winston Churchill to the Oval Office and still describes our relationship with Britain as special. It's increasingly difficult to feel it. Good to see everybody. Welcome, all new people joining in for just another mess over here. And I do have one more story before I have to end this thing and head on to go about my wonderful day. Give me a second. And that is this particular one right here. Dude, are you okay? Doge uncovers insane Social Security data. On Monday, Michelle King, the acting commissioner for the Social Security Administration, stepped down from her role. According to the AP, which incidentally the rest of the legacy media uses to copy and paste its news, King joined several other federal officials in leaving their post, ostensibly over Musk and the company having unlawful access to taxpayer information. In other words, they wanted to get while the getting was good. After all, when the excrement collides with the oscillating ventilator, it's going to end up everywhere. Doge and Trump do not have many enthusiasts in the swamp regarding the appointment of Leland Dudek to the Anti-Fraud Department for Social Security. Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, who served as Social Security Commissioner under the Biden administration, said to the Washington Post, "At this rate, they will break it, and they will break it fast, and there will be an interruption of benefits. It's a shame the chilling effect it has to disregard 120 senior executive service people to pick an acting commissioner that is not in the senior executive service sends a message that professional people should leave that beleaguered public agency." Social Security has been broken for a while. It's just that no one has bothered to call the time of death. And I don't think O'Malley or King are worried about anyone's benefits. The reason they say they are up in arms is that Elon's team got a look at who's been listed as still alive by the Social Security Administration. And I must say, if the numbers are true, Americans are extremely long-lived people. This came from Elon Musk. According to the Social Security database, these are the numbers of people in each age bucket and the death field set to false. And let me bring that up just so you have an idea, because this is cut off. I'm going to bring this particular piece up right here just so I can share it with you. Right here. 0 to 9, 38 million. 10 to 19, 44 million. 20 to 29, 47 million. 30 to 39, 52 million. 40 to 49, 47 million. 50 to 59, 45 million. 60 to 69, 46 million. 70 to 79, 39 million. 80 to 89, 15 million. 90 to 99, 6 million. 100 to 109, 4 million. 110 to 119, 3 million. 120 years old to 129 years old, 3 million. 130 to 139 years old, 3 million. 140 to 149, 3 million. 150 years old to 159 years old, there's over 1 million people living that are almost 160 years old. And then we get to the 160 years old, it starts to decrease with 121,000. And 170 to 179, there's 6,087. 180 to 189, there's 695. 190, almost 200 years old, is 448 people that are almost 200 years old. And that pales in the number of 220 to 229 years old. You've got 1,000 of those. And at 240 and 249 years old, there's one. And at 369 years old, there's one. Amazing that there's still these people that are receiving Social Security benefits. Isn't that a little odd that you find that? Well, this person did a little research, and from what they could find, the oldest living people in the United States top out at around 111 to 117. So in reality, the list above should end at 110 to 119 range. But according to the Social Security database, there are 3,627,007 of these centenarians in the country. Well, Fox News noted that according to the 2020 census, there were 80,000 people aged 100 and up, and that's pretty impressive, but it doesn't even come close to 3 million. The database also shows 121,807 residents from ages 180 to 160 to 169. Of course, to really mine the country gold out of this, you need to scroll to the very bottom. You will see that you find one person that's 360 to 369. Let's take an average of 365 years of age. That person would have been born in 1660. After checking various history sites, I found some notable events from that year. The Great Fire of Constantinople burned 280,000 structures. Mary Dyer was hanged for defying a law that banned Quakers in the Massachusetts Bay County. Samuel Pepys began keeping his famous diary. The Long Parliament of England was dissolved. The English Restoration occurred, and Charles II returned to the throne. Cuckoo clocks were invented in Germany, and apparently the oldest living American was born. Of course, the U.S. didn't even ratify the Constitution until 1788. The fact that there is even one person in the 360 to 369 age bracket is sort of comical, but if you take the list as a whole and see just how many people had their death field set to false, you get an idea of how far-reaching the incompetence has been, or maybe even the corruption. It's likely that not all these undead individuals on that list had checks issued in their name, but one of the chief concerns of people watching the Doge revelations is not how much money was spent, but how it was spent. Along with that is the concern that money allocated for one thing, no matter how ridiculous, may have gone for something else entirely. And I guess it's just too much to ask Social Security Administration to keep track of who is dead and who is alive. After all, these aren't voters they're counting. Well, maybe they're not voters they're counting. You just don't like old people because they smell a bit. Well, that if they're 369 years old, I would bet that they smell quite a bit. Just saying. Just saying that could be one smelly problem. It could be. Could be. It's crazy out there. It is a crazy, crazy place. But I do have to correct something from yesterday right here. It's this. This is an old story that I showed yesterday. Just wanted to bring that up. There was an old story about the diplomacy and Zelensky denying to have certain things happen. So yeah, I wanted to say that was a correction, because that was a context clip from 2024 before developments involving Trump and Putin does not show him demand 250 billion. Zelensky in January of 2024 suggested frozen Russia's assets be used to rebuild Ukraine. January 2025, he asked for those 250 billion assets to be given to Ukraine's army. So that was, like I said, that was my mistake. So I wanted to correct that and make sure that was taken care of before anything, got spread around that I was giving bad information. But I've got 2 funny clips that I've already shown before, but I've got to show them again because they just make me laugh. They really do. Like this one right here. This makes me laugh every time.
Hey! Wait! Hold on! I'm coming! Wait! I'm coming! Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. So this is the new mean spot, huh? A little less cozy than last time. That's alright. You know what they say about concrete in the jungle? That's what dreams are made of. I don't know whose dreams though. Definitely not mine. My dreams got a little more chaos, mayhem, sentient robots taking over the world. Macro dose melatonin my days. You know how it is. Jerry. Oh, dude, no way. You got one of these here? Dude. Oh, watch my step. Go gadget. Disproportionately long arms. Dude. Jackpot. Hold her steady. Steady. Clean break. Patience is a virtue, you know. I have no idea what these are, but I do know that I love them in my mouth. So you just take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then you just shove it in. Oh, baby. That's the real deal. Mom's calling. Sorry, bro. I gotta go. See you next time.
That's one, but not as funny as this next one. This next one made me laugh immensely. No, you hating on Ukraine? Go fund me. Come on, man. It's me. Hey, Brandon, how you doing this morning? A lot of companies utilize the SS mass database, so it's kind of a job not to F it up. Yes. Yeah. No wonder they're saying Social Security will run out. Yeah. That is very true. That is very true. But the next one really put a smile on my face right here. Ah, yes.
Okay. I just got done at the dentist. Okay, I just got done at the dentist and half my face is numb, but that's not the... My face is so numb that I can't close that eye. I'm dying. Okay, ready? Look, this is... Ignore, I'm a hot mess, it's fine, but like, ready? This is me blinking. I can't blink my eye. It's literally not moving at all. I like, okay. Okay. Okay, ready? I'm gonna close my eye. What am I gonna do? How long does it stay this? Like, oh no. Alright. I can't stop. Okay, go. Alright. Oh, I look like Quasimodo.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
And shine, coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.